You? Fight me. The words echoed through London's elite boxing academy like thunder. Jessica Harper, Britain's undefeated women's boxing champion, stood in the center of the ring. Her blonde hair was pulled back tight. Her muscular arms crossed over her chest. She was staring down at a small Chinese girl who had just walked into the gym. The girl looked so ordinary. She wore simple clothes, a plain white t-shirt and black training pants. She couldn't have been more than 5 feet 4 inches. Next to Jessica's 5 feet 10 inches frame, she looked tiny, almost fragile. But what happened in the next 3 minutes would shock everyone in that gym. What happened would go viral across the internet. And what happened would teach Jessica Harper the biggest lesson of her life. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. And if you've ever been underestimated because of how you look, this story is for you. Jessica Harper was a legend in British boxing. At 32 years old, she had won 24 professional fights. She had never lost a single match. Her knockout power was famous. Sports magazines called her the British Bulldozer. She had grown up in Manchester, fighting her way up from nothing. Her father had been a boxer too. He taught her to be tough, to never back down, to always show dominance. Jessica ran the elite boxing academy in central London. It was the most expensive gym in the city. Rich people paid thousands of pounds to train there. Celebrities came to take her classes. She had built an empire on her reputation. That Tuesday afternoon, the gym was busy. About 20 people were training. The sound of gloves hitting bags filled the air. The smell of sweat mixed with expensive perfume from the wealthy clients. Then the door opened. A young Chinese woman walked in. She looked about 25 years old. Her face was calm. Her eyes were steady. She walked straight to the front desk. "I'd like to try a class," she said quietly in perfect English with just a slight accent. The receptionist, a young man named Tom, looked surprised. "Do you have any boxing experience?" he asked. "Some," the girl replied simply. Jessica was finishing a training session with a client nearby. She heard the conversation. She turned and looked at the Chinese girl. Something about the situation annoyed her. Maybe it was the calm confidence in the girl's eyes. Maybe it was because Jessica had been having a bad week. Or maybe it was something deeper, something about not wanting to share her spotlight with anyone, especially someone who looked so different from her. Jessica walked over, still wearing her boxing gloves. She was sweating from her workout. Her client, a wealthy businessman, followed behind her like a puppy. "What's your name?" Jessica asked, looking down at the girl. "Lin Wei," the girl answered calmly. "Lin Wei," Jessica repeated, saying it wrong on purpose. "And you want to learn boxing?" "I'd like to train here, yes," Lin Wei said politely. Jessica laughed. It wasn't a friendly laugh. "This isn't a beginner gym, sweetheart. We train serious fighters here. Champions. You'd be better off trying a fitness class somewhere else." The gym had gone quiet. Everyone was watching now. Lin Wei's expression didn't change. "I can pay the membership fee," she said quietly. "It's not about money," Jessica said, stepping closer. Her voice got louder. "It's about respect. This gym has a reputation. I have a reputation. I can't have just anyone walking in off the street, thinking they can train with champions." Tom, the receptionist, looked uncomfortable. "Jessica, maybe we should. Maybe you should let me run my own gym," Jessica snapped at him. Then she turned back to Lin Wei. "Tell you what, little girl. If you think you belong here, prove it. Get in the ring with me. Right now. Just some light sparring. If you can last 3 minutes without crying, I'll give you a free membership." The gym erupted in whispers. Everyone knew this wasn't fair. Jessica was a professional champion. This small Chinese girl looked like she'd never been in a ring before. Lin Wei looked at the ring. Then she looked back at Jessica. Her face was still calm. "Okay," she said simply. Jessica's eyes widened slightly. She hadn't expected the girl to agree. "Seriously? You want to spar with me?" "Yes," Lin Wei said. "But not light sparring. A real match. 1 3-minute round." Now Jessica laughed louder. Several people in the gym joined in. This was getting interesting. The wealthy clients pulled out their phones. This would make great content for social media. "Oh, you want a real match?" Jessica said, her voice dripping with mockery. Honey, I'm a professional champion. I've knocked out girls twice your size. You'll get hurt. I'll sign a waiver, Linwei said calmly. I won't hold you responsible. Jessica's competitive instinct kicked in. She wanted to teach this girl a lesson. To show everyone in the gym what happened when someone disrespected her territory. Fine, she said. Tom, get the waiver. And get her some gear. 10 minutes later, Linwei stood in the ring. She wore borrowed boxing gloves and headgear. Her small frame looked even smaller in the professional boxing ring. She did some simple stretches, moving slowly and quietly in the corner. Jessica, meanwhile, was putting on a show. She shadowboxed, throwing fast combinations. Her muscles rippled. She bounced on her toes, showing off her footwork. Her fans in the gym cheered. Last chance to back out, sweetheart, Jessica called across the ring. No shame in admitting you're out of your league. Linwei just shook her head slightly. Tom reluctantly agreed to referee. He climbed into the ring looking worried. This is just an exhibition, he announced to the crowd. If anyone gets seriously hurt, I'm stopping it immediately. Jessica rolled her eyes. It'll be over in 30 seconds, she muttered loud enough for everyone to hear. The gym was packed now. Word had spread through the building. Personal trainers left their clients. People from the yoga studio upstairs came down. Everyone wanted to see the British champion destroy this unknown Chinese girl. Tom looked at both fighters. Touch gloves, he said. Jessica barely extended her gloves, pulling them back quickly with a smirk. Linwei's gloves touched empty air. Ready? Tom asked. Both fighters nodded. Fight! Jessica exploded forward immediately. She threw a fast jab at Linwei's face, meant to intimidate, to make the girl flinch and back up scared. But something strange happened. Linwei wasn't there anymore. She had moved, not backward in fear, but sideways with incredible smoothness. Jessica's jab hit nothing but air. Jessica frowned and threw another combination jab cross hook. Fast and powerful. The kind of combination that had knocked out professional fighters. Linwei moved again. Her footwork was like water flowing around rocks. She didn't seem to be trying hard. She just wasn't where the punches were. Stand still, Jessica shouted, frustrated. She threw a heavy right hand, putting all her power into it. Linwei slipped to the side. Jessica's punch whooshed past her ear. The momentum of the miss made Jessica stumble slightly. The crowd gasped. This wasn't what they expected to see. Jessica's face turned red. She was the champion. She didn't miss. She charged forward, throwing punch after punch. Jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts. A flurry of leather and anger. But Linwei moved through the storm like a ghost. Her head moved just inches, enough to make each punch miss. Her feet glided across the canvas. She wasn't running away. She wasn't scared. She was in complete control. 30 seconds passed. Then a minute. Jessica was breathing hard now. She had thrown maybe 40 punches. Not one had landed cleanly. What's wrong? Linwei said quietly, speaking for the first time since the match started. I thought you were a champion. Those words were like gasoline on fire. Jessica screamed in frustration and threw a wild haymaker. A huge swinging punch with all her strength behind it. This time Linwei didn't dodge. She stepped forward inside the arc of the punch. She was suddenly close to Jessica, chest to chest. And then her right hand moved. It wasn't a big movement. Just a short, compact punch. Her fist traveled maybe 6 inches. It landed on Jessica's solar plexus, the nerve center just below the ribs. The sound was like a baseball bat hitting a watermelon. Thud. Jessica's eyes went wide. Her mouth opened. All the air left her lungs in one huge gasp. Her legs buckled. She dropped to her knees, then fell forward onto her face. The gym went completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Tom jumped in immediately, waving his arms. Fight's over. Fight's over. Jessica was on the mat, gasping like a fish out of water. Her face was purple. She was trying to breathe but couldn't. The punch had temporarily paralyzed her diaphragm. Linwei calmly walked to her corner and began removing her gloves. Her breathing was normal. She wasn't even sweating. For 15 seconds, Jessica couldn't breathe at all. Her face went from red to purple. Several people in the gym screamed. Someone called for an ambulance. Then finally, her diaphragm unlocked. Air rushed back into her lungs. She gasped and coughed, rolling onto her side. Tears streamed down her face, not from emotion, but from the physical trauma of not being able to breathe. Tom and two trainers helped Jessica sit up. She was still gasping, her arms wrapped around her stomach. She had been in 24 professional fights. She had taken hundreds of punches, but she had never felt anything like that single shot from Lin Wei. The crowd was in chaos. Some people were shouting. Others were on their phones, already uploading videos to social media. The whole thing had lasted less than 2 minutes from the opening bell to Jessica hitting the mat. Lin Wei had removed her gloves and headgear. She was sitting calmly on a bench in her corner, drinking water. She looked like someone who had just finished a light workout, not someone who had just knocked out the British champion. Tom climbed out of the ring and walked over to her. Who are you?" he asked, his voice full of wonder and confusion. "My name is Lin Wei," she said again, the same answer as before. "I'm a boxer." "Where did you train?" "What gym?" "I grew up training in Songzhou," Lin Wei said. "My father taught me traditional Chinese boxing. Then I trained at the Beijing National Training Center. I competed internationally for 6 years." Tom's jaw dropped. You were on the Chinese national team?" Lin Wei nodded. "I represented China in the Olympics. I won a bronze medal in Tokyo." The word spread through the gym like wildfire. The Chinese girl they had all been laughing at, the girl Jessica had mocked as a beginner, was an Olympic medalist. She was one of the best boxers in the world. Jessica, still sitting on the mat, heard this news. Her face went from red to white. She had just tried to humiliate an Olympic boxer. She had mocked her in front of dozens of people. And now she was the one sitting on the floor, unable to breathe properly. "Why didn't you say anything?" Tom asked Lin Wei. "Why did you let her talk to you like that?" Lin Wei's expression was still calm. "I don't need to tell everyone my credentials," she said quietly. "Actions speak louder than words. That's what my father taught me." She stood up and walked toward the ring. Jessica was being helped to her feet by the trainers. When Lin Wei approached, Jessica flinched, an automatic reaction. She was afraid. But Lin Wei didn't come to gloat. She extended her hand. "You're strong," she said simply. "But strength without respect is just bullying." Jessica stared at the offered hand. Her pride wanted to refuse it. But something deeper, the warrior's code that had drawn her to boxing in the first place, made her accept it. She took Lin Wei's hand, and the Chinese girl helped pull her to her feet. "I'm sorry," Jessica said quietly. The words came hard. She wasn't used to apologizing. "I was disrespectful." Lin Wei nodded. "Yes, you were. But everyone makes mistakes. The question is what you do after." The two women stood there for a moment, facing each other. The whole gym was watching. Phones were still recording. This moment would be replayed millions of times over the next few days. The videos went viral within hours. #British Champion Knocked Out started trending on Twitter. The footage was shared on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Sports news websites picked up the story. By the next morning, it was international news. Jessica Harper's reputation took a massive hit. Comments flooded her social media. Some people mocked her for being so arrogant. Others criticized her for bullying someone based on how they looked. Sponsors started asking questions. The Boxing Commission opened an inquiry about the unsanctioned match. But something interesting happened over the next few weeks. Jessica didn't hide. She didn't delete her social media. She didn't make excuses. Instead, she posted a video. She was sitting in her gym, no makeup, looking humble. "I made a huge mistake," she said to the camera. "I judged someone by their appearance. I was arrogant. I was a bully. And I got exactly what I deserved." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Lin Wei taught me something more important than any boxing technique. She taught me about respect. She taught me that true strength doesn't need to announce itself. And she taught me that no matter how much you've accomplished, there's always someone who can humble you." Jessica went on to explain that she had invited Lin Wei to become a trainer at the gym. Together, they would teach a new generation of fighters, not just how to punch but how to carry themselves with honor. The response to Jessica's video was overwhelming. People respected her honesty. Her sponsors stayed. The boxing commission closed their inquiry. And most importantly, she began to rebuild her reputation. Not as an unbeatable champion, but as someone who had learned from her mistakes. Lin Wei became a sensation. Gyms across Britain wanted her to teach. But she stayed at Jessica's gym, teaching traditional Chinese boxing techniques alongside modern methods. Students who came to the gym for its reputation now came for something deeper. They wanted to learn from both the champion who had fallen and the quiet warrior who had taught her humility. 6 months later, Jessica and Lin Wei competed together in an international exhibition match as a team. They demonstrated a combination of British power boxing and Chinese technical precision. The event raised money for youth boxing programs in underprivileged communities. In an interview after the event, a reporter asked Jessica what had really changed in her life since that day. Jessica smiled, a genuine smile, not the arrogant smirk she used to wear. "I learned that the size of someone's heart matters more than the size of their muscles," she said. "I learned that respect isn't about demanding it, it's about earning it. And I learned that true champions don't just win fights, they make everyone around them better." Lin Wei, standing beside her, added quietly, "In China we have a saying, the tallest tree attracts the most wind. It means that when you're on top you become a target. But it also means you have a responsibility. You must be strong enough to bend, not break." Jessica learned to bend. That made her stronger than any victory in the ring ever could. The two women, once on opposite sides of a humiliating confrontation, had become friends. More than that, they had become partners in teaching the next generation not just how to fight, but how to be better human beings. The story of their match was told in boxing gyms around the world. It became a lesson about pride, prejudice, and redemption, about how quickly arrogance can be shattered, and how beautifully humility can rebuild what was broken. The lesson here is powerful. Never judge anyone by their appearance. Never let your achievements make you arrogant. And never forget that there's always someone who can teach you something, if you're humble enough to learn. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We share real stories about courage, justice, and the power of humility every week. Drop a comment below telling us about a time you witnessed someone learn a hard lesson about respect. Your story might inspire someone who needs to hear it today. Remember, true strength isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about knowing when not to. See you in the next story.